Lovely people. You pair of lovely, well-informed, knowledgeable individuals.
Let's not take the piss. Lovely people we might be, well-informed. It's good.
Here we go. Eat My Goal with Mike and Dan. We are back. We're getting towards the end of the season. It's nearly there. We can almost taste the end of the season. Wickham at Fratton Park this weekend, and then we are out for another year. How are you, Dan? I'm,
as we used to say in school, I'm Lakes.
You're Lakes.
L-A-X-E.
Oh,
good old Pompey word. Lakes.
Kind of probably aging yourself with that word.
Yeah.
But mine would be kind of obviously, I don't know, rad, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm rad.
Yeah.
Not that I ever was. So this is Eat My Goal with Mike and Dan. We talk mostly about Portsmouth Football Club. It's the end of the season for Portsmouth. We have gone 10 games unbeaten, so not to be sniffed at, even if most of those were draws. We'll also have a little quiz, got a lovely quiz for you this evening, Dan. And we'll have a little chat about the Premier League a little bit later as well. It's been quite a action-packed week for Goalfest, certainly in the Premier League this last weekend, wasn't it? Goals galore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
But let's start with Derby away. Good away support, second highest away support in the EFL this weekend.
Yeah.
Dan. It's pretty good showing for a bunch of lads who are playing for nothing.
Yes. I must say, I watched the first half, and I think that's the loudest I've heard the Pompey fans for a long time.
Yeah,
I don't know whether you noticed it as well, but yeah they sounded really good. And considering the first 20 minutes or so were Derby.
Yeah.
But I could still hear the Pompey fans.
Yeah, fair play those people. 3,120 people who went to Derby with nothing to play for. It's, I doff my cap. I doff my cap to them.
Yeah, definitely.
What did you think of that first half then, Dan? Obviously, as you mentioned, first 20 minutes, all Derby.
So yeah, the first. What minute did we score in? It was around
24th, I think, early 20s, wasn't it? Ish.
So yeah, I watched the first half. I watched the highlights again today. And I thought to myself, oh yeah, they did have about 3 or 4 chances, and then I thought, maybe I didn't remember it very well. But then when I watched the highlights, they actually could have been about 3 or 4-0 up Derby.
Yeah, comfortably.
And it looked really bad, didn't it? The first 20 minutes, I just thought, oh dear, this is horrible.
We could get spanked.
We are getting spanked all over the pitch. Towler picked up an early booking, which I thought was harsh. But then suddenly we scored completely against the run of play. And then I thought for the rest of the first half, I thought we were brilliant. I thought it's one of the best I've seen us play just in that 25-minute period. It just completely turned around, I thought, in that every time we went forward, we looked really dangerous. And then we had about 3 or 4 chances after that. So, I thought
it was literally a game of 2 halves in that first half, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was strange how much that goal.
2 halves.
What?
A half of 2 halves.
A half of 2 halves, indeed. But amazing. I can't remember the last time I saw a game where that a goal changed the game so dramatically.
Yeah.
I know goals change games, of course, but it's almost like that we came to life after that, didn't we? I know Derby. You could say Derby went back into themselves a little bit and got a little bit more defensive, but we were excellent for those 25 minutes.
I did. Yeah, and we just looked really confident after that, and we were like knocking the ball around, playing little triangles, finding those pockets of space. I just thought we were excellent after that. But unfortunately,
what did you think of the goal? Sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, the goal. I thought that was so it was Lane knocked it back to Rafferty, and then Rafferty played it inside to Morel, and then I thought the pass was on to Morel's right-hand side. I think.
I thought exactly the same. I thought exactly the same.
Pass, and I was like, "What are you doing?" But then he did a perfect cross to Bishop at the back post, and another cracking header, wasn't it? So
it was actually a great pick out, wasn't it?
It's almost like a professional footballer knows better than me.
Imagine that. Yeah. But no, I thought it was a great pick. Actually, I thought exactly the same as you. I thought that's got to go back out wide, isn't it? It's got to go back out. And he went to dink in, and suddenly you saw Bishop in so much space. But even then, I thought it's one of those goals where you think, he should score from there, shouldn't he? But actually, to place that header so well, he probably put it in the one place the keeper wasn't going to get it. But perfect. And as you say, the game completely changed. What was your unfortunately?
My unfortunately.
You said unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
I cut your flow, didn't I?
I was just going to say, unfortunately, I didn't get to see the second half. So, so I don't actually know. And then when I looked at the highlights, there was only the Derby goal. Was it just the Derby goal? And then was it one chance for us? I don't even think it was.
And that one that kind of spun off.
Yeah, that's right. They had that. Yeah, they just showed the line. Goal, and then the one that just went right across the face of goal.
Yeah.
So nothing for us second half. I don't know. I haven't heard people saying that we were bad in the second half, but just a shame that we couldn't.
Yeah. What did you think of their goal?
Not great. That was the ball down the middle, wasn't it?
Ball down the middle. Two Pompey players going for the same ball, losing out to it. I thought it's a shame because I thought Towler and Deschamps had actually played pretty well.
Yeah.
Bernard, should I say Bernard, and Towler, like you say, considering Towler's early yellow card, I thought he actually had a decent game.
Yeah.
And didn't really give that. After the first 20 minutes, obviously they had a lot of space going forward, and I think that was mainly down for some reason our midfield seemed a bit absent, didn't they? And I thought there was too much pressure on the back four, especially with two young centre backs.
Yeah.
But then once we did get that goal and we started taking control of it a bit more, I just thought they coped pretty well, with the exception of that goal where they just went a little bit. Let's all go together. I don't think there's any need for Bernard to go there. I saw someone comment that had for all the criticism of him, had Raggett been playing, he probably would have comfortably gone through that.
Well, maybe, but we've seen Raggett pulled out of position enough times in this season to. We know that might not be the case, but
whatever. I think there's positive signs there, wasn't there, for next year? I know we still need a lot of players coming in, but I think Lane is starting to look more accomplished in that position. He loves a cross. The only if I had a criticism of him, he's so one-footed, isn't he?
Yeah.
The amount of times he went out on the outside and you knew he was going to cut back. I think he tried one cross with his right foot, which was okay for a weaker footed cross, but he is very one-footed, isn't he? But I kind of liked Jacobs' more roaming sort of role. I know he was playing off the left, but kind of roaming a lot, wasn't he?
Yeah. I thought. I thought just that as soon as after we scored, that's the best I've seen us play for a long time. But then it is just that 20-minute period. So.
But again, I think with the goal, we also saw with the goal the effect of Piggott kind of being in the middle again, taking the attention of the defenders away, creating that space for Bishop. Likewise against Accrington the week before, but in reverse, creating the space for Piggott. I don't know. I just think when you've got that bigger player in that number 10 role, it kind of suits us. It's just a shame it's taken so long to realise it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just don't understand why we start so slowly. Always start so slowly.
It's every game, isn't it?
Every single game. If I was an opposition manager, I'd be like, you've got to get at these first 10, 15 minutes. You've got big chances for goals because they don't come out of the blocks until
I don't want to know, boys.
20 minutes in. Don't want to know. They don't want to know, do they?
Don't want to know. Yeah. Don't want to know. Still 0-0. That's true though. It's true though. We always do. It's every game. It's just like after a couple of minutes, it's just Christ, here we go again. Just really slow to start. No confidence whatsoever. That's why it surprised me that it picked up so much as soon as we scored. Suddenly we just looked like a completely different team, and the confidence was back.
Yes, absolutely. They were running us ragged, really. They should have been. If you were a Derby fan, you'd probably be gutted. You only got a point from that because you should have been 3-0 up in the first 20 minutes, shouldn't they? here's something that I wanted to discuss. So obviously, McGoldrick for Derby obviously has a certain red and white.
Eddie McGoldrick.
Eddie McGoldrick for Derby.
90s, late 80s, 90s Palace.
Yeah, that's the one. No, David McGoldrick, obviously a former scummer. Now, I don't know how you feel about this, because I understand the grief that they get from Pompey fans, and likewise, I'm sure ex-Pompey players do. I'm sure Gary O'Neill got pelters down when Bournemouth played there the other day, although obviously came away smiling. But in that situation, as in, I can't think of a time where I've seen an ex-Southampton player look as if he's intimidated by that. If anything, it seems to make them want to play. It seems to bring out the best in them. Can you think of? Can you give me any examples where maybe I'm wrong?
No, not really. I mean, not scummers. Maybe ex-Pompey players.
Being intimidated going to ex-Pompey players coming to us.
Yeah, but not really. Yeah, I know. But what are you going to do? You can't. You're never going to stop people.
I know. But I always think, like, I remember back in the day when Ostenstad scored against us for Blackburn.
Yeah.
He was toilet, wasn't he? He was a toilet player, and he just seemed to be head and shoulders that day. BT a couple of occasions, I think, when he came with Stoke. Looked like then he was massively overweight and what have you, and
Shearer
played fairly decent. Yeah.
Shearer always used to score against us. I think it's just. I think
it's got to be done.
Yeah, I think the thing is that you're just as nervous as me, in that you're thinking, please don't rile the opposition up, because the last thing we need is somebody who's wound up and ready to batter our defenders, because we can't cope with players like that, as we've seen all season. So
they seem to rise to it, don't they? Which unfortunately our team don't seem to. Well, I don't know. Like I say, I know it's not going to stop, but it would just be nice to actually see someone cowering in the corner, a little bit like when have you seen the thing where Redknapp describes going back to Fratton Park with Southampton when we beat 4-1 in the I think it was in the cup, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or it might have been no, it wasn't in the cup actually. It was a league game, wasn't it? When we beat him 4-1 with the
Can you just, if this is a Redknapp story, you need to put up a bullshit warning. Or
no, it's not a Redknapp story.
An embellishment warning.
But the fact that there was banners over the M27 and stuff saying "scum die" and all that sort of thing, he said that they pretty much lost the game before they went out on the pitch, and they were 3-0 down within 20 minutes. Yeah. But other than the whole team like that, and the Amy was obviously completely dog poo on that day, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. It's on occasions when they come back with other teams, it just seems to have a really positive effect on them. I don't know. Anywho, so by the way, if you want to subscribe to our channel, you can do. Just hit the subscribe button on YouTube, or put us a 5-star review on Spotify. That'd be nice. Be nice to get a little review on Spotify, Dan, wouldn't it? Be honest, but put it as 5-star. Put it as 5-star. We will be backing some guys next season, won't we?
But they don't even have to put it as 5-star. Just put anything, any sort of comment. You pair of
lovely people. You pair of lovely, well-informed, knowledgeable individuals.
Let's not take the piss.
Why not? We have done for the past 44
lovely people
episodes.
We might be. Lovely people we might be, well-informed.
You can get in contact with us at eatmygoal22@gmail.com. Dan, did you see Eric Eisner's tweet? I think it was yesterday. It might have been this morning. I'm not sure. It was probably on Eastern Time. Did you see this?
No, tell me all about it.
Well, he was replying to a tweet from Perry_PFC, who put, "Nice one, Eric, but we're still in League One, mate." And he replied to Perry,
all right,
with a Fratton Park that is back to capacity, brackets, it was about to be greatly reduced, don't know what that's all about, close brackets, a new training ground, brackets, never owned one as a club before, close brackets, and have backed each manager as they have said on record. So at some point, this is the bit I find interesting, so at some point the pieces will fall into place and we will get out. Finally, plus
good.
agreed. There's a continuation. Plus all losers. These may be losses. With equity brackets, no loans, no debt through COVID. Yeah, fair play to that. Those were tough times for the club those years. I think we're yet to see the fallout from COVID for clubs, not average times. That said, we all want our League One. That is a fact we can all agree on. Well, certainly he ends it, I think, pretty well.
Yeah.
But at some point, the pieces will fall into place. It just sounds like a little bit hopeful, doesn't it? Rather than planned.
Yeah, just sort of like, well, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, guys.
Combine that with Andrew Cullen's "When the Stars Align."
Yeah. and McPartlin, did you say?
And McPartlin, yeah.
What's he got to do with it?
It just seems it does seem a little bit hopeful rather than real determination to get out of League One, doesn't it? It seems like okay, well, we're moving in the right direction. Well, actually, league position doesn't speak as if we are, but yeah, fair enough. Bratton Park is slightly nicer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm falling on the fence on the PFC coalition side of the fence at the moment. I think not to the point where I'm going to join it, but I fully understand their point and the frustrations at this moment in time.
Yeah.
But maybe let's see what Mousinho does in the transfer window and early part of next season.
Oh, I can barely wait.
Are you bated breath?
Just about 15 signings. That'd be lovely. Just a completely brand new team, please.
Which way do you reckon it will go? Do you think it will be nicely planned out and executed with all our targets lined up now, and the majority over the line well in advance of pre-season, or do you think it will be penny pinching, trying to get the best deal, which is fair enough, try to get the best deal, that's fine, but trying to haggle on the best payment plans and basically eventually finishing, going out on pre-season with 10 first team players and making up with academy players.
Yeah.
And then adding in a couple of last minute free agents, kind of late July, early August.
Yeah, that one. If I know Pompey, that's the way it will go. I mean, I've seen a lot on Twitter of people saying, "Well, can't we just get Timo Pukki and all these Championship players? Let's just buy him, and then we'll be fine." And it's just like, well, you're not going to get Championship players. I'm sorry, but we can't afford them. They're not going to drop down. Well, it's unlikely they're going to drop down. So I guess, and then it's a case of whether we keep Bishop, whether we keep Morel, I think is another worry. But then if we do keep players like Morel, hopefully he can entice some of his Championship playing friends to come and join. But then,
AKA the Wales squad. Is that what you mean?
Well, I guess it's no worse than what we've got, is it?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
It's the Welsh side of things.
Time will tell, I guess. Time will tell.
Yes.
So let's crack on with a quiz. I think let's do a quiz. Get quizzing.
What's
As
your
I mentioned
thing?
you before we came on, I've got a quiz. It's a very Pompey related quiz. I'm going to give you 5 groups of 2 ex-Pompey players. I want you to tell me which one's the oldest.
Oh, I think I've got a Pompey thing up at the minute.
Let's be quick. You got a theme to yours?
My theme is random football facts,
Okay.
as it's been so often this season.
All right. So this will be nice and quick. So I'm going to give you 2 names. All you have to do is say one of those 2 names. So here we go. Kick off with these 2 names. So first 2 names are Noel Blake, Alan Knight. Which is the oldest? Who is the oldest? Not which. Who is the oldest out of Noel Blake and Alan Knight?
That's a toughie. Same era. Knight was round just before, but was he older? I will go with Alan Knight, but I fear I'm wrong.
By about 6 months, you are correct. Alan Knight, they're both 61. Alan Knight is approaching his 62nd birthday, whereas Noel Blake will not be 62 until January next year.
That was a cheeky.
I'll tell you now, they're all pretty close. They're all same era.
Excellent.
Well, with the actually, tell our exception of one.
Ready?
Yes.
Gentle one to start you off with, as I say every week. True or false? Cristiano Ronaldo has scored more goals since turning 30 than Wayne Rooney did in his entire career.
Ooh, true.
It is true. Do you know the numbers? So Wayne Rooney scored 269.
Oh, okay. I think Ronaldo's quite a lot more than he's about 300 and something, isn't he?
376.
Yeah, wow.
30.
That's bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Reportedly has had enough at Saudi Arabia as well, hasn't he?
Well, I don't know why. He's got a great attitude.
He always looks so positive.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is contestants number 2. Paul Walsh, Ledge, Mark Haitley. Ledge.
Oh, come on.
Mark Haitley, Paul Walsh, Mark Haitley.
Well, it's got to be Haitley, hasn't he? Haitley, although Walsh was playing. Now, see, in your head, you've got Haitley was playing before, but then Walsh would have probably been around at the same time anyway. I will go Haitley, but again, I fear for my answer.
There's 1 month and 6 days, isn't it? And by 1 month and 6 days, Paul Walsh is the older of the two.
Oh.
So they're both 61 years old.
Oh. Right, ready?
Yes.
San Marino's only win came in 2004 with a 1-0 victory over which team?
Oh, funny enough.
Was it Liechtenstein?
Oh yeah, go on.
Cyprus.
It was Liechtenstein.
It was.
Yes. Funny enough, me and Massan were just talking about this about 3 weeks ago, maybe, when the last international games were on. We were talking about this because he was saying, even as a resident of that country, why would you go and watch them all the time when they literally get beat 99% of the time?
Yeah, I was going to do Latvia. Would that have?
Oh,
put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
and that was a friendly as well. Yeah.
Oh dear. Right, your next two.
Come on then, let's have it.
It's 2-1.
These two football players that are minutes apart.
Vince Hilaire.
Yeah.
Mick Tate. Vince
Hilaire. Now come on. It has to be Mick Tate because he always looked older, and Vince Hilaire has looked the same since 1988. So I'm going to change it and go for Vince Hilaire because I think you're trying to trick me. Vince Hilaire is older.
Vince Hilaire, by 3 years, is younger. Younger than Mick Tate.
Question. Mick Tate always looked 50.
It is Mick Tate who is the older of those two, I'm afraid. 66 years old. Vince Hilaire, 63. And like you say, even in recent pictures, still looks a shade over 30.
Yeah. Right. Come on then.
Okay, go on.
That's 2-1.
And
you've got a game in hand.
A quiz in hand.
Yeah, question in hand. Right. What do you know about Greenland?
All over it.
So why are Greenland unable to join FIFA? Is it A, due to their inability to grow regulation length grass? Or B, there are only 2 professional football leagues in the country and FIFA rules stipulate that members must have a minimum of 5 competitive leagues?
I don't know. 2 professional leagues. That's pretty good going. Surely, not Estonia. Who did we just talk about a minute ago?
Liechtenstein.
Yeah, surely they haven't got more than 2 professional leagues. I'm going to go with the grass one.
I can tell you that the grass one is correct. It is due to their inability to grow regulation length grass.
It's like you have adverts. Are you struggling to grow grass for your foot?
Are you struggling to grow regulation length grass? People are turning their back on you.
People are turning their back on you still.
Yeah.
Still.
Have
you been shunned from another international tournament?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back in it then.
All right.
Mark Chamberlain. Martin Cool.
Right.
Mark Chamberlain. Martin Cool.
Mark Chamberlain. One of my best friend's parents used to babysit Alex Oxlade Chamberlain. Nick Jones, in fact. His parents used to babysit Mark Chamberlain's son, Alex.
Oxlade.
Yeah.
Chamberlain.
So I'm going to say it was Martin Cool, did you say?
And Martin Cool, correct. Yes.
I love all these legendary names. I would say it's got to be Chambo is older. Definitely.
You would be correct.
Yeah.
You would be correct by 3 years.
Yeah.
Or 2 and a bit years. 61 to 58.
Cool. Right.
Martin Cool.
Okay. What goalkeeper change first came into football in 1913? Was it that goalkeepers were allowed to leave their 18-yard box for the first time, provided they didn't use their hands, of course, or goalkeepers were required to wear a different colour shirt to their teammates?
Oh, that's interesting. Surely they've always worn a different colour shirt, haven't they? So I'm going to go with the outside the penalty area.
That's incorrect.
Really?
They were required to wear a different colour shirt to their teammates. In 1913, they came up with that rule.
So they went a good 30-odd years wearing the same kit as the outfield players.
Yes. And I'm pleased that if we've got anything out of this podcast, it's the fact that I've just taught you something.
You have. Don't you find it funny when you even watch back to the 90s?
I do still. I need this one.
Even when you watch back to the 90s and the goalkeepers wear the same shorts and socks as the outfield players.
Yeah.
And you think that looks bizarre now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, here you go. You need it. You need this.
Mm-hmm.
You'll like these two. Eddie Howe. Hayden Fox.
Eddie Howe or Hayden Fox?
Hayden Fox and Eddie Howe.
No, Hayden Fox is older, most definitely.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Because Eddie Howe was a mere child when he was at Pompey.
Hayden Fox. Okay, here you go. There's 5 months in it.
Okay.
And you are correct. Hayden Fox is 5 months older than Eddie Howe. They are both 45. Fox was born in June. Howe in November.
I pulled it back 3-3.
3-3.
So you need this for the win.
Here we go.
God, this is the most exciting quiz we've had in weeks, Mike.
Oh, it's beyond exciting.
We both got 3 right out of 4 thus far. Right, here we go. Okay, which legend holds the record for suffering the most number of fouls in a World Cup? Is it Maradona in 1986? He suffered 56.
Oh, okay.
Pele in 1962, where he suffered 83 fouls.
Well, I remember watching the 62 World Cup.
Yes.
No, it's got to be Maradona.
It was rad, that World Cup.
It was wicked. It was wicked. It was off the hook.
Yeah.
It was surely they played less games in 62, so therefore it's got to be Maradona, isn't it?
Is correct.
See where I applied logic?
He suffered 56.
56 fouls.
Yeah.
That was
There you
just
go. Well
against
done,
England,
Con.
wasn't it? That was just against England.
4-3.
4-3.
He did actually. There was another thing to that, and I can't remember. I don't know where, but yeah, in one game, he suffered loads. I think it was against. Oh, who was it against? It's an European team, I think. I can't remember who it was now.
All right.
Mm.
Yeah, he was kicked all over the place, wasn't he? Kicked all over
Yep.
the place.
Yeah.
But then when you see what other Argentinians were doing to other teams, you kind of like think, well, you get what you give. Jesse, we'll talk a little bit about Premier League, but before we do, you've got to feel sorry for Jesse Lingard, haven't you, Dan? Do you feel sorry for Jesse Lingard? All his dreams of playing for Manchester United went a bit sour, so he kind of went to Nottingham Forest in a bid to get into the World Cup side, but can't really get a game at Forest. But then, even worse than that, recently he was pulled over for speeding in his Range Rover. Right, Jesse Lingard, probably, although a bit of a twit, still quite recognisable. You know what Jesse did when the police asked him his name? He just made up a name. He made up a name. He made up the name George Bolt. And he gave an address. I don't know how he got this address, but the address turned out to be a car park in Oldham. So obviously he got a bit nicked for that. So
what was he trying to hide?
I assume he was trying to get away with a speeding fine, despite the fact he's driving a car which I assume is registered to him.
Yeah.
I don't think he understands how it works, does he?
No. Well, he's probably a bit short on cash.
Yeah.
On a pay no fine.
But on a similar note, do you know what Jermaine Pennant did when he was pulled over in 2008 for speeding? He gave.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, he gave a fake name. Do you know what name he gave?
I'm sure I've heard this, but no, I can't remember.
He gave the name Ashley Cole.
Jesus.
I believe his then team. No, it couldn't have been his then teammate, could he? Because in 2008 he was towards the end of his twilight. He was in his twilight. Anyway, so yeah, I thought that was a bit of a Jesse Lingard. Yeah, well, George Bolt is my name.
In answer to your first question, no, I don't particularly feel sorry for Jesse Lingard.
This is how we started the season, isn't it? Wherever it is.
Yeah.
So, Premier League.
Yep.
Jurgen Klopp against Spurs. What do you think of his little run and then shout in the face of the fourth official for whatever reason?
Well, today I posted on a coaching forum about people berating referees because this season, as you know, I coach an under-15s team, and we're in the top division, and every team I've played against, all the opposition teams are just constantly on at the ref, regardless of the ref's age, because they're mostly kids that refereeing us.
Yeah.
From the first minute, ref, abo, every single decision, every single 50-50, even when the ball goes out of play and it's clearly come off them, abo. And I'm going to take this down and make this quite a somber piece, but I really do think it needs to change from the top. So I think
agreed.
People like Arteta and Klopp and Guardiola, I mean, they're the top three managers in the Premier League, and they're probably the top three worst ones for it. And it's just got to stop because it filters down, and that's why we do get kids 13, 14, even some younger than that, screaming at the referee, and then wondering why they're getting booked for it, because although that doesn't happen very often, because Klopp doesn't get booked for screaming in the referee's face. So I think on a serious note, I think it's just got to stop, because
unacceptable, isn't it? Unacceptable.
I mean, it's always been a struggle to get referees anyway, and I just think in 10, 15 years, if it carries on the same way, there's just going to be no referees around, because who's going to want to do it? Who's going to, or it's going to be you'll get £100 a game if you're a referee.
Yeah, and then people are going to say, well, come on, we're paying £100 a game. It's not sustainable for our kids to play football. Well, no, you should have thought about that 2 or 3 years ago. when you and your kids were in the faces of referees.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I completely agree. I think it's just ridiculous. I know we have a moan about the standard of refereeing in the lower leagues. Lower leagues as in League One. But and to be fair, I don't think the standard in the Premier League is great. But ultimately, I don't think there's any. Ultimately, they just scored a 94th minute winner. Why do you need to launch himself at the fourth official? Which he even then said afterwards, he had no issue with the fourth official. So it's kind of like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then his comments afterwards, where he basically accused the referee, because obviously he got booked for that, and he then accused the referee of being out of order. He wouldn't say what he said, but he said something bang out of order to him.
No, but didn't the FA or whoever came out and said that they've listened to what he said and have said there's nothing untoward there at all? So
so surely he should therefore be charged twice, shouldn't he? Because of A, lying about that situation, and B, his antics on the sideline. Don't get me wrong, I like Klopp. I like the style of play, but I don't like that side of things is out of line, isn't it?
Well, it's the same with Arteta, isn't it? Same with Arteta. Brilliant footballer, brilliant team, but it's just the constant, and it is from the first minute. Every single decision, going out for a throw-in, screaming at the linesman, screaming at the referee because you haven't got the decision.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it is just a snowball effect.
It is. So, next question for you: will City win the treble, in your opinion?
No, I don't think they will. I don't think they'll get past Real Madrid.
Do you think that's where they'll slip?
I think they should do, and I think the way they're going, that they're playing as good as they ever have.
Yeah.
Especially this season, and Haaland has just got his 50th goal, just unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he plays and they play like they played against Arsenal last week, because Haaland was, I haven't seen. I know I've said it quite a lot on here that he's just a goal scorer and not a good all-round player. I thought against Arsenal he was just quality. Everything just completely battered him. Physical, movement, just everything about it. So I think if they can play like that, then they'll give themselves a really good chance. But I don't know. It's just Real Madrid, isn't it? League.
They find a way, don't they? They always find a way. Yeah. I don't know. I think I got a sneaky feeling they will. After what happened last year, they should have beaten them last year. Obviously, Grealish hit the post, and then within 2 minutes, Real Madrid equalised, and then City seemed to run out of steam, didn't they? And the rest, as they say, is history. But I think because of that, I think Grealish is a much better player this year, isn't he? In every way, his all-round game is much better. And I don't know, De Bruyne, although he had a little patch this season where he was a bit off, wasn't he? I think he's now probably better than he has been ever, isn't he? He's just a phenomenal player, isn't he? Just an absolute. You talk, obviously, when you talk about Premier League all-time great midfielders, you talk about your Gerrards, you talk about your Scholes, you talk about Lampard, Keane, Vieira. He's got to be in that conversation. With De Bruyne for sure. I'd even say Gerrard wouldn't get in a team where De Bruyne, if it's a choice between him and De Bruyne at the moment, for me,
no, absolutely not.
I think he just offers so much, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's not just the goals, is it? It's the assists. It's just the constant. Yeah.
The vision, his the fact that he gets up and down the pitch so much. I just think he's a phenomenal player. Really is good. Really is good. I don't know. I've got a sneaky feeling they will. I think they will.
I hope they get at least the Champions League. I mean, the FA Cup final, they've got Man United. So you never know. They should win it, but it's a final, isn't it? And it's a derby. So
they are by far the best team there, aren't they? But it's difficult saying it. They got kind of outplayed by Brighton the other semi, didn't they? And lucky to go through on pens, I thought. So, we shall see. All right, okay, that's about all we got time for in this episode. Next week will be the last one of the season. Tune in for that. In the meantime, get in contact with us at eatmygoal22@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at eatmygoal22, or follow us on Facebook, which is /eatmygoal22. Like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do to get us more Watch us. Do that. Share with your pals. Pass the pod, as they say on the Peter Crouch podcast.
Yeah.
Do that.
Should we do? Maybe we should do little comedy sketches.
Yeah. Get 167,000 people.
Yeah, and if I'll play a woman, and what I'll do is I'll put a towel on my head or a t-shirt.
Yeah, or a t-shirt. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
A woman.
I reckon that will be hilarious.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
If you got any ideas for sketches that you'd like me and Dan to do, email them in. eatmygoal22@gmail.com.
Yeah.
That's us for this week. Thanks, Dan, and goodbye.
Bye.